I have a little bit of a confession to make. It's actually kind of a big confession. So throughout my life, I've created my own way of worshiping God that more makes myself feel good than actually serving God. Let me give you an example. Oftentimes when I go into worship, and that would be like on a Sunday morning during church, like worship time when we're supposed to be singing and that sort of stuff, I'll focus more on what song is being played or what type of music style they're choosing to use than I will on actually thinking and just being in awe of who God is and how awesome He is. For example, when I get to heaven and I actually see God, I don't think it's going to matter whether they're playing on harps or heavy metal. I'm just going to be in so much awe of God that I'm going to worship however we're going to be worshiping in heaven. I'll be fully content, because worship is not about serving me and making me feel good and making me feel happy. It's about serving God and doing what He's commanded us to do. And this is something I'm seeing constantly around myself in my culture, and really it doesn't matter where I go. Even internationally, I see it as church is meant to be done this way, or following Christ is meant to be done this way because that's how it's always been done. But I would challenge you today with things in your life like worship, prayer, even fasting could be an example of, are you doing these things in a way that serves you or in a way that makes you get a closer, deeper relationship with God? So today we are in the book of First Chronicles, and we're in chapter 15. Well, we're going to start in chapter 13, and today we're talking about moving the ark. So I want to give you kind of a summary of what's happening here. So David's been anointed to be king of Israel, and as king, he decides to move the ark. He says this: "It's time to bring back the ark of our God, for we neglected it during the reign of Saul." So this is very important and monumental. During the time of Moses, the ark would go out physically in front of the people to show that God was going out physically and leading them spiritually. His ark was there to lead the people. It was a reminder of that. And David, by bringing it to where he is in Jerusalem, by bringing it to the capital city, it was a way of reminding the people that while we're not being led through the desert, God is still the ruler in Israel. It's a very, very big moment. But look, David decides to move it in his own way. See, traditionally, the ark was moved by the way that God had commanded it to be moved. There were two poles that would stick through it, and men, Levites, priests, would carry the ark from where it was to where it was going. David decided to get two men, and they would put it on a brand new cart, and then that cart would be led by a few oxen to Jerusalem. This was not how the ark was commanded to be moved. Actually, in Leviticus, it does not ever say that this is approved. And here's why. Because in verse 9, chapter 13, "But when they arrived at the threshing floor of Nacon, the ox stumbled, and Uzzah reached out his hand to steady the ark. Then the Lord's anger was aroused against Uzzah, and he struck him dead because he laid his hand on the ark. So Uzzah died there in the presence of God." And David, he got mad. He's like, "God, we're just trying to serve you. Why are you doing this to us? Why would you kill Uzzah?" But let's point out a few things in this story. Number one, David is doing what he's commanded not to do, but he's doing it in a way that's supposed to be serving to God. If I'm doing something that's sinful and I'm saying it's serving God, then I'm not serving God, am I? I'm in fact serving myself and my own interest. Furthermore, the book of James warns you that you should not be a leader because you're going to be held to a higher standard. Look what happens here. A man literally died because of David's sin. That's a big responsibility. So when we're stepping into leadership, and equally when we're obeying leaders, we need to be in prayer and communion with God to know whether or not they're leading us in the correct way. Now, I'm not a big fan of going against my pastor. I like to submit to his authority, but if my pastor gets up and starts speaking blasphemy, I'm not going to sit there in the pews and clap him on and shake my head. No, because that would be leading me and the others around me towards sin. So it's this balance of when we're in leadership, we need to be always thinking, am I doing this in the way that God wants me to be doing it? And also when we're following, we have to be praying that, is this person leading me towards you, God, or are they leading me towards what I want? And see, David, he does realize this. In chapter 15, verse 2, it says, "Then he commanded, no one except the Levites may carry the ark of God. The Lord has chosen them to carry the ark of the Lord and to serve him forever." See, David has learned from his mistake from before, and he is now serving God in a way that is going to glorify him, even though it's not the way that he would have chosen to do it. Okay, I hope this encourages you to build your faith. If you want to read the Bible with me, then all you need to do is go in the description of this video. In the top line, there's a video playlist of all the videos I made on this topic. And there's also the link to the actual Bible plan that I'm reading, so you can follow along day by day. It's chronologically, which means that it's in order of events when it happened and not in the order the Bible lays it out. So that's why we kind of skip all over the place. Anyways, I'll see you back here tomorrow.